Hey, howdy and happy day. Always remember this, donate to your local Cure for Liberalism office. There's offices scattered throughout the land. You go give them money and they're going to try to find a cure. Between now and cure time, I recommend that all liberals hide in the basement, lock the doors, and wear masks. Hey! Just sharing with you. Nebraska, recently they became the 27th state. 27th state, that's the majority of all the states in the United States of America to have constitutional carry. That means you don't have to pay the government for a permit. You pass a background check. You're allowed to buy a gun. So now you can carry the gun without going to that expense and time required by so many states. All of them, not that long ago, but now more than half say, hey, hey. And you got the governor of Nebraska that says this: I am going to protect our constitutional rights. I'm going to promote common sense and conservative values. Hey, isn't that neat? NRA, good for you. CSSA in Canada, they try to do this kind of stuff, but they don't have a constitution in Canada, so it makes it harder. But of course, they do fight all of the time, and that's a darn good thing. Now you got Facebook, Meta. They're now removing all the Canadian access to news on Instagram and Facebook and so on, and businesses are suffering. People in the media are suffering. People are getting laid off. Canadians are not getting the news that they could and should be getting. This is a Hitler thing. The news and the press is being controlled, and it's owned by the Liberal government in Canada. I mean, the world should be, upset about this. I'm upset. Are you upset? It's craziness. But it's happening. You have this little group of people, crazy people. It's like Hitler and his little group of crazy people. They ran a country, and eventually the world started to, pay attention. Thank goodness we had Winston Churchill, right? I mean, he was a conspiracy guy, everybody said, but he called it, and he continued to call it, and guess what? He was right. Somebody needs to do that in Canada. Oh, maybe that's me. There's a conspiracy, I guess. These people are out to wreck the country. They're taking control of people's minds and thoughts and schools and education, and they represent that much with regards to the population. It's a frightening thing. Now, you have Trudeau, the Prime Minister in Canada. He's recently been separated, and apparently he's getting divorced. So I think the West wants to separate as well. Like, the country should separate. I mean, you got the Prime Minister separating, everybody should separate. And this guy, no wonder he's separated, and maybe he's getting divorced. Well, apparently he is. He spends all of his time going to gay parades, hundreds of them, and transgender. That's all he talks about. That's been his entire focus. I mean, one day he's going to start to do ballet, I think, before he makes a speech. Hey, and then you have keeping up here, jumping all over the place, trying to express my news and views with attitude, because we all got to talk about this kind of stuff. We just need to, because it's happening all around us. Dumb as forever, but crazy, scary. So we have to do what we can to kind of stop scary. You got Anheuser-Busch, right? The beer story. They got the little guy that says, welcome to girlhood or womanhood or some such. And months later, the collateral damage here is enormous. It's unbelievable. Over $40 billion, $40 billion has been lost by shareholders with value, in the capital markets, $40 billion. And they just don't care. They continue to sponsor gay this and homosexual that and transgender that. It's wild stuff, 40 billion. Now, talking about billions and trillions and numbers, used to be that a millionaire was a big deal, right? A billionaire now, kind of, sort of. Someday there will be a trillionaire, I guess. All the countries globally combined have over $900 trillion of debt. 900 trillion. We need a gold standard back so these people are accountable. But in any event, back to this, 900 more than trillion. What comes after a trillion? I had to look it up. I was so curious, and now I know. These numbers, millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, they're actually named number. What are they? I know this. Just a minute. Name numbers. They're called number increments. That's what it is. Wikipedia. Thank goodness for Wikipedia. So when you go past trillion, the next one is quadrillion. And then there's a quintillion. There's a long list here. There's probably a dozen or more names. But the next one is the one I like, sextrillion. Well, I want to be a I used to say I wanted to be a zillionaire. I don't now. I want to be a sextrillion. Just share it with you. China, they have bought more than $1 billion, a lot of numbers here, billions and trillions, more than $1 billion of farmland that's right beside the airports in the U.S. Wow, is that a conspiracy? That's a little scary. So Congress is worried All the Republicans are saying, we got to do something about this. I got the answer. It's not that hard. Encourage them to buy farmland. Buy more. Spend trillions. Spend sexillions. Spend all you can. And then nationalize it. Pretty simple. Anything else I can do for you? Just let me know. Remember this. The first 5 days after the weekend, they're the hardest. See ya.